Looks like a centre half I would hate to play against. Neal Trotman.
Neal Trotman, welcome, pal.
Thanks for having us. Big game, obviously. I've been a chat manager all night, and I come up with this formation. I did it and it worked, so we won.
What was the biggest thing that impressed you about him, Alan Pardew?
He wasn't arrogant, but he was kind of like, I'm on your level, so don't take the piss, basically. I got stuck in the mud. I got stuck in the mud. I mean, he'd gone again.
Where was you supposed to be going?
Malia.
With the boys?
Yeah.
You cancelled it. Fair play.
I'd have been in Malia.
That's why you're at Radcliffe.
Yeah, so cancelled.
Right, Jordan?
We're live.
You're alive. Well, we have had a little discussion off air, haven't we, about fitness and your...
It's nothing to do with fitness.
Well, your body shape. Your discipline. Shall we go more into discipline?
No, but I'm back now, and I'm on it.
How many days have you been back on it?
One. Yesterday.
One day. Do you remember when you phoned me up yesterday morning? Was that the starting point?
Yeah, so I was obviously at breakfast. I was just thinking, let's grab a bacon butter before we have a round of golf. But you've taught me into getting a protein shake and a banana. It's worked wonders for me.
And that was it. You was like, right, I'm on it now.
Yeah.
Clean living.
Trained well last night as well.
Did you? There you go, you see.
Yeah.
It's that
Until
banana.
we did shape and then they swapped me out for baller.
And then you knew.
My head was gone.
I knew I'm sub.
Yeah. So what's been going on?
As you can see, I've broke my thumb, which was handy. Yeah, I know. So Tuesday morning, I was in the gym, and you know they work like the incline benches where you can do the different kind of angles on the bench. No, you won't do, no. But yeah, there are them, and I have a thumb underneath. Yeah, I have a thumb underneath trying to put it back, and it's just slipped out of its joint and just fallen, crushed my thumb. And do you know one of them where it's a massive bang and everybody looks around in the gym, and I've gone like, whoo, whoo.
Acting cool.
Acting cool, but like I've
put Belfry as well, weren't you?
Yeah.
All the posh heads in
the
there.
Posh, yeah. And I've put my hand in my pocket, dead quick, and just like, whew, like that stung, and tried to like play it off, and then my thumb was red hot in my pocket. And for a split second, I've bent down and just looked underneath the bench.
See if your thumb were there.
Yeah, to check that I've not chopped my thumb off. And I could feel my thumb bleeding.
It feels like I'm actually in pain now thinking about it.
Yeah, it was in between the two metal grooves. Anyway, by the time I carried on doing my workout because obviously I didn't want everyone to think like. Imagine if I had just walked out the gym, everyone had gone, "Hi," just fucking crushed his hand. So I carried on doing my workout for about 20 minutes. Then went and got a shower, and I've been struggling to like dry my hair and stuff because my thumb was throbbing. By the time I drove home, I think I sent you a picture, didn't I?
Yeah, it was
like
bad. 4
times as big. It was black. So yeah, I ended up going to the hospital, and I've snapped my thumb, crushed it in half.
It's not nice, that, is it?
No, but
golf season as well.
Well, we had a round of golf planned, didn't we, next day? And I said, I'll give it a go. I played a full 18 holes.
Weren't too? Well, you were pretty crap, weren't you?
I was pretty crap, yeah, but I got through it, didn't I?
Well, I
nearly beat you.
I messaged a place about my hair.
You messaged the police?
A place, you know, like that does like hair transplants.
No, you didn't.
Yeah. I sent them a picture of my head, and they've not fucking replied.
They might still be laughing.
It's just like, there's nothing we can do for you, pal.
We're not that advanced.
We're just gonna have to let it go bald, I think.
Did you message Turkey? Somewhere in Turkey?
No. It's,
in England?
Yeah, I won't mention them because they've not got back to me.
Well, maybe it'll bring them out the woodwork.
Yeah, replica. I don't know whether I need it.
Is that what it's actually called?
Yeah. I don't know whether I need some bits stitching in, but our guest might tell us after what he did with his.
Get off, mate.
I think that's the best bet. Yeah. That's the best bet.
Yeah, well.
But talk about this ballers thing that everyone keeps talking about. I've no idea.
It's Ballers League. Have you watched it?
Bits of it. What's the last one, actually? I think John Terry was the manager.
John Terry's a gaffer. Yeah. Dave, who you don't know, is a gaffer.
Dave.
Angry Ginge. There's Jens Lehmann.
What,
he's a rapper, basically.
What, rappers and footballers can be managers?
Yeah, so they had it like the NFL draft.
Yeah.
Where like teams will come up and pick who they want in their team, and it's a five-a-side basically. But it's lads in non-league, some ex-pros in there, isn't there?
Oh, so you can pick them from anywhere?
Yeah, I think Lescott played the other night against like lads who are in the counties. So I don't know how he got on. Obviously, he's a bit old now.
Yeah.
He should be all right.
He'll still be
shouldn't he?
class, though. Have
But
you ever been
it's
asked?
actually not bad. It's like Masters.
Is it?
Don't know if I've been asked, but it got mentioned. But I don't think John will let me go. We're in a relegation battle.
Yeah, but like I said, you're not playing.
Yeah, that's true. Imagine ringing John to now saying, what do you think of me playing on Sky in this Ballers League?
I'm just going to catch train down on a Monday night.
Yeah, it's not even worth the phone call, I don't think.
No.
But it's actually all right. Do you remember Masters Footy? It's
Yeah.
like that, but with better players. But some of the lads who are in, like the counties, are actually doing well in it.
The thing is, though, like you'll get lads at that level who are brilliant at, you know, the skills and
Yeah.
taking players on, but then you get them on a full-size pitch and they can't do it. So they'll be classing them little five-a-side games.
Don't take that to heart, lads, if you're listening. just keep going, move 11 aside.
Keep pushing forward. No, and they get paid as well, don't they, you said?
Yeah, 5 ton or something it is.
Is that what it is?
Yeah.
5
Is it?
ton.
Yeah.
Is it five-a-side or six-a-side or what?
5 aside, but they have mad shit, you know, like it's proper American. They got like KSI commentating, and then it's like at the end of every half, it's like power play, and then something will come on and it's like a 1v1 for 3 minutes or a 3v3 for 3 minutes.
If you're playing in North West Counties or Southern County, that's your dream made. isn't
Unreal.
it?
You're playing on Sky live.
Yeah.
Replays, VAR. Jens Lehmann's your gaffer.
Dave.
Freddie Youngberg.
Yeah, he
He's
is.
there.
Is
If you
there?
were playing now, would you think you stand out in that?
Would I?
Yeah.
No. What?
I don't know.
Yeah, I think you do all right.
Jens Lehmann's team have been
I thought you
beat.
was on about me. I was like, you don't have a big guy up top in five-a-side.
Can't go
Just
read
hold
one
it
of
up.
it's like a...
That could work though, because the keepers can just dash it out, just hold it up and bounce it off to you. Yeah?
Just like a wall.
But, so, obviously Jens Lehmann's team's losing every week. And
Why?
I've said, listen, I've won about 10 titles now in non-league. 10 leagues, 10 promotions, whatever it is. And I'm class at winning corners. Because
Come and get
for
me.
every 3 corners that you get a penalty.
What?
So,
Do you get?
Is that what it is?
yeah.
Do you get to take the corners? So you get to
No,
take the corners.
so if it
as
goes
well?
out for a corner, there's no corners.
Ah, right, okay.
It just, like a little flag will come up saying you've had one. Then when
And if you get
gets to
3, you get a pen?
You get a pen. So I'd just be holding it up in corner, getting corners.
Yeah,
flicking it off them.
you'd be brilliant.
I know.
You'd be a star player.
So Jens, give us a bell, mate. I'll
Give
come
a shout
down.
out to him.
Yeah.
And Jono.
Brian Lai.
Jono, bring in another striker. You don't need Jordan. He's on the
Right.
bench anyway.
Right, that's enough. Let's get on.
What are you going to do at end of season when you get bombed?
I might not. I've been all right. I'm top scorer.
It's because nobody else has played up front.
Yeah, that's true.
Let's go, yeah.
Yeah,
Oh, yeah.
it's still not too bad, is it?
How many have you got?
I've only got 12.
12. Is that including trading?
Right, let's get on with guest.
Right. Do you want to bring him in?
Yeah, should be a belter today. Looks like a centre half I would fucking hate to play against. Yeah, Trotman, Neal Trotman.
Neal Trotman, welcome, pal.
Thanks for having us.
You all right?
Yeah, I'm all right. Not too bad.
You find it okay?
Yeah, just about. Just circling around for about 20 minutes. It's right in front of me as well.
I don't say it's a big enough building, isn't
yeah,
it?
so, yeah, me now anyway, and yeah, ready to crack on, really.
Because you live pretty close, don't you?
It's about 45 minutes, Altrincham, the other side of Manchester.
Well, in fact, I should have said you were brought up pretty close there, weren't you?
Yeah, well, yeah, down the road, Levenshulme.
Yeah.
Was there for a good 18 years, born and bred, and yeah, seen a few things.
Just talking, it just reminded me there. This is nothing against people from Burnley and Padiham because I'm from there. But a girl has on her status Padiham, born and bred, spelt B-R-E-A-D.
just don't do it, love.
It just tickles me. It's brilliant.
Just leave it out.
Yeah. Born and bred, Warburtons.
I'm so glad I'm off that Facebook and shit now. You've not played for a while, have you? Been out
No,
of the
I
game?
think I retired about 10 years ago. Didn't have a choice really. My knees completely. It went really. I just literally couldn't play anymore, and went to see the specialist. And he said, "You can't play anymore." I shook his hand. Basically said, "Nice one," because I wasn't gonna retire myself.
Yeah.
I think I needed someone to tell me.
Did you know it was coming though? Was it a relief in the end?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, I know it sounds weird. I had the same when I got told about my blood disease, only because it went on that long. You just want someone to tell you what was wrong.
Tell
and say,
me if I
right,
can or
yeah.
I can't.
It was the not knowing and like, am I ever going to get back? Am I going? So yeah, I was wondering if it was the same.
Because basically, for my knees, my first operation, knee operation, was when I was 17. And fast forward another 9, I was having to retire, and I think about every session I'm having twice, feeling aches. I'd gone a night out on a Saturday. The next morning, a Sunday, I'd have to take the anti-inflams.
Oh really?
From the night out.
Honestly, from a night out, I'm just like, wow.
Yeah, but I can see you're a bit of a mover on the dance floor. That's why.
I used to be.
If it was one of us, we wouldn't have got up. And our knees would have been fine.
So so when he said you can't do it anymore, I basically shook his hand because it was just a bit. 10 years is basically agony as well. Don't be wrong, it was good, paid well and everything, but ultimately, was I really, really enjoying it? Do you know when everyone can just train whenever they want? It's hard, and obviously you got your knee and it just ricochets into everything else, doesn't it?
Yeah. And what was the actual diagnosis?
I've got no cartilage in my knee basically. I think that much of my cartilage was out when I was how old was I? I was 18.
Right.
So from 18, basically, it's been bone and bone for like a good 7-8 years, and eventually it was always going to take its toll.
So at 18, you got told your knees were.
No, that was 16, 17.
16,
Yeah,
17.
he said, your knee's basically about 50 years old, the left one.
Really?
Yeah, and he said...
Why? Because it just like
my knee
wear and tear, like
I just got
disintegrated.
bad knees, even in like primary school. I remember in year 6, I had to wear like a bandage on my knee. And then throughout high school, I did decent high school as well. We had a high school team. We were the best in England. And then so we were always playing football all the time. And I just think it was just like wear and tear of everything, really, my cartilage. I had a microfracture when I was 20. And basically bone and bone sits then. It's basically arthritis in your knee, isn't it?
Yeah.
And it was that for most of the career, really, having twice all the time.
Because obviously your cartilage acts as like a shock absorber.
Yeah,
So if you haven't got that.
Exactly. So I'd be walking up the stairs, and it's like a little twinge, and like a shooting pain. I mean, I was like, fuck's sake, I needed this before I game. Do you know what I mean? And it was tough. But looking back now, it's probably what leads me into what I'm doing now, really.
Talk us through that, what you're doing now, because we won't go back to the start, because I think you've got an interesting story at the end of your career as well, haven't you?
Yeah. So I've retired at Bristol Rovers, and so I was looking to go to Altrincham actually, because it's local.
Yeah.
And I went to see the specialist because my knee was sore.
No thanks, Neal. We're good.
Yeah. You got knees like my nan.
Oh yeah. Probably dodged a bullet, I didn't think. And I retired, and obviously I was buzzing. Obviously, I wasn't buzzing, but I was at the same time. I was like, "Fuck, what do I do now?"
Did you get a payout as well?
No,
Did you not?
He's
Why?
ongoing. I did try, don't get me wrong.
You got to have a go at you.
What, because it wasn't like a definitive career-ending
Yeah, because I was playing
tackle or
football.
injury
Yeah, exactly
or,
that.
Right.
Exactly that. So if I would have someone would have gone 2-footed and my knee was completely messed up, and then maybe. But
You not faked
10
it?
years. I tried.
Go into any tackle.
Yeah, got sent back, and so I retired. And obviously, I'll be honest with you, for about a year, I was like, "What am I doing?" Just those kind of pre-seasons, you see everyone training as well.
Yeah.
Your mates on Snapchat or even on social media, and you're like, "Fucking hell, it was me like a couple of years ago, even a year ago." And so for a good year, I was just I was in my own head, and I just ended up going on YouTube, looking at loads of psychology stuff, and not realising that my wife now at the time said, "Listen, you should get yourself into it."
Was it something that helps you, or was it just something that you was interested in anyway?
Yeah, I've always been interested in it because probably even in the U team from there, like the manager would shout and different players and everything. I was sat there, I was like, I wouldn't have said that to him. I would have gone the different route.
Oh,
Do you know?
really?
Because not realising.
Yeah.
And then obviously the more I got onto it, the more I was like looking more at what the manager was saying and how he was saying it and how people were reacting to it. And not realising that was probably something I was always interested in.
It's something that we've talked about loads on the podcast, about the psychology of a footballer and what it takes to make it, and not just once you've made it, how to handle how the gaffer speaks to you, how another player coming in to take your position, how you get over injuries, you know, just how you prepare yourself for a game. All that is obviously the mentality, and I think it plays probably a more of a role than your fitness.
That's such
If
a young
you're
age
not
as well.
mentally fit.
That doesn't just happen in your late 20s. You're probably straight into it, probably from 16, so
Yeah.
you leave school, having to worry about somebody else in your position. All this all pleasing your parents as well, because they want you to be the best one. You know, you can hear about the Project Mbappe and everything else. And
That's it's even worse now as well, isn't
terrible
it?
social media. And
It's like Project Mbappe.
do you know what I mean? Hear it, don't you know?
Yeah, you
That's
see
what
it all
is.
the
It's like
time.
a
yeah.
1-year-old like on floor with boots on. Just start the mum and dad are throwing him a ball. He can't even move.
Yeah, I know.
Just chill.
Set out a row of cones in his in his cot bed.
10 years ago, to get into that though was probably perfect for you, wasn't it? 'Cause it's
Yeah.
gone massive now.
Yeah, definitely. It's obviously like for me, what do they have? 10 operations, obviously been released. Been
Is that how many operations you had?
Oh, a bit more than that, actually. 13.
Was it?
Yeah.
Blimmin' heck.
I know. So when I retired, actually, that year, I had 4 alone. So I'd say I retired in the July. By November, I was on 4. And I got infected. Minnie got infected as well, and they did another operation. And I was literally, I had it's called a PICC line, I think it is, where there's something coming to your heart and somebody has to come in every day, like a nurse. She was there about 6, 7 o'clock, having to inject all the
Anti-inflammatories.
Yeah, anti-inflammatories.
Your head's flying there though, innit?
Say it again?
Your head's just flying.
Yeah, well, I
innit?
was literally at home. I just didn't know what to do. I was just there waiting for somebody. It was like 2 or 3 weeks that, and I was like, what the fuck's going on? Do you know what I mean? This time last year, I was playing for Bristol Rovers, doing okay, and here I am now.
Did you go in?
Just like down having something.
Like, what's gone on here?
Do you know?
Did you go into a decline, like a depression kind of thing, or not? Or was it more just like, I just don't know what to do with myself?
I was low, but I think I was low for the obvious reasons.
Yeah,
Do you know what I mean? Like when I'm low, I feel like I can justify being low.
Yeah.
I'm low because I don't know what I'm doing at the moment. I don't know where I'm headed.
Yeah.
I was lower than that actually when I was 21, when I was at Preston.
I think sometimes nowadays, and there's I suppose that there's a little bit wrong in it, but just because you're unhappy or you're down or something like that, doesn't need to be labelled that you got depression.
Exactly.
I think there's a big difference, isn't there? Like, he's just going for a tough time.
Just
Do you know what I mean?
relax, yeah.
He's not depressed. Like, I think like kids nowadays, especially in schools and stuff, kids are running around everywhere and they're like, God, he won't sit still. He's got ADHD.
Yeah,
He's
I got to label him straight away.
He might just...
Or autistic, ADHD,
Yeah,
and
might just be a
everything
hyperactive kid.
Exactly.
Like, he might be fine by the time he's 10. I just think
yeah,
he's
exactly. Because
labelled...
if that was me, I feel like I thought I'd had ADHD. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Because I was on it, and then
I
obviously.
defo should have been diagnosed. 100%.
But then you
Yeah,
mature,
but you
don't
haven't
you?
got ADHD, though, have you?
Don't know.
No,
There's
you
traits.
haven't.
There's traits.
I think everybody does though. I think
Everybody has
everybody
traits of something, don't they?
It's
But
just something what you focus on, really. But yeah, so obviously when I retired, I feel like everybody else, what you do, because I didn't plan it really. I didn't know what I was going to do. I was going to go to was properties, but when you're doing something you love all the time, you know what you don't love. You know when you retire.
Yeah.
And it's not something I was into it, but it wasn't really my true passion, and I didn't know what it was. So it was basically trial and error. I went into the agency a little bit, which is all right, but again, it wasn't really. I retired from football, and I kind of wanted to just leave it there, to be honest. And so I was low, for like a good 6, 7 months, really, maybe a bit more, to a year. And my missus just said, "Why don't you just kind of get into the psychology side?" And like in terms of advice and everything else, and obviously what you've been through, there's like a niche there for you, really.
Yeah.
And yeah, so I did that. Took a course. I think it was 4 years, and transactional analysis it is, and now I'm connected with Sporting Chance.
yeah.
Yeah, so connected to Sporting Chance. Got my own private clients as well. Probably over the past year or two, probably had about 50 to 100 footballers as well come through. And
And how have you found that? Like, have you found it's easier for the footballers to reach out to you?
yeah, I
Do you
find
think the
that.
stigma's like going a little
it's
bit?
hard. Don't be wrong. Reaching out is hard.
Yeah.
And I don't really want to put myself out there too much, and because then it can be quite daunting. You know, I need to have to do that now. If it can kind of go underneath the radar, and quietly go about my business and what I'm doing, it will come to me. And it has been, to be honest. And also do encourage, if you don't go to the PFA, then go to Sporting Chance, and then I will get some clients from there as well.
And what kind of things are you helping with?
Various, like,
Is it addiction? Is it like psychology stuff in terms of like how to handle pressures and things like that?
All the above.
Right.
So my clients range from, could have a 13-year-old at an academy to an international who was just in the World Cup winning Euros.
Right.
So it varies from that, really. Usually from the 13-year-old, it's the pressure, to be honest. When the parents get involved as well, they can't say it, but just like, I just wish me mum and dad weren't there in my ear, basically.
Yeah,
Just, you know what I mean?
to piss off
Yeah, it's
the
basically what it is, yeah. There's so much pressure as well because they'll be with you, let's say you're 13, you'll be there till you're 16, then get released. And then they're like, oh, all my identity's gone. Like,
Yeah.
my parents hype me up, my friends. You're kind of a bit embarrassed as well because you don't go to your friends thinking, oh, I've just been released and what are you now? Because you're known as that footballer. And so your identity is like, who am I then if I can't play football? What do I do? And then, but then you've got the other ones as well who, it's like now, it's probably the time now you're going to get released, isn't it?
Yeah.
From clubs.
Yeah.
And you've got clubs who are just stringing players along. You know, because they obviously need the...
They need the
bodies,
players in
don't
the
they?
squad.
Exactly,
Yeah.
especially if they've got games coming. Say if they've got 3-4 games, they know who they're going to release, don't they? But they can't
Yeah.
say because just in case they kind of...
Which makes
Day
no
one, really.
sense because who cares?
Duty of care, isn't it? Where's that? Exactly.
Like, who cares about the last 6-7 games of the season, the
And also
results?
the ones
Like,
you
look after
sign
the
in
kid.
from the youth team as well, from the under 16s that can play, but ultimately looking after themselves.
Yeah.
And
But they're just a body in
college as well.
training, aren't they?
course they are, yeah.
but then you'd feel that as well, don't you?
Yeah.
When you're playing, I've been
Yeah.
there when I was at
Yeah.
Burnley. I was thinking, what's going on here? Because we didn't get told till like May, and like if we were going to get a contract, we probably would have got one. That
And you know yourself, don't you? Like it's very rare. You're like, oh, it's 50-50. You either yes, and
Exactly.
and you know the other lad. You think he's getting one. I don't think I will.
But even like the first couple of months before that as well, you're kind of up in with the first team a few times, aren't you? Or the 23s, whatever it may be. So you kind of know that you're kind of
Yeah.
getting involved rather than if you're in a youth team under 18s and you kind of your contract's up and you're on the bench, it's not looking good, is it? But the club still won't tell you. You know
Yeah.
what I mean? And after when you do get released, like, what do we do now? And then they'll have to stay so they'll be 18. Like in terms of trials, it'd be hard. You get the odd one, but then they'll say no, and then come mid-July, like, here I am now. What do I do?
Yeah.
You're literally stranded on your own, and that's kind
That was
of
one
getting
of
psychology
the
behind
biggest
it.
things that I found when I retired was every time you went into somewhere, whether it was like the gym or the pub or whatever, they'd be like, "Oh, how did you get on yesterday, Gaz? Did you know?" And it was always that to start the conversation.
Oh, I've retired. Oh.
No, but like when you stop playing, like you do worry. You think like, well, what are people going to ask me about? You know what I mean? And people, and it's stupid, but it is that thing because you think, well, I'm not playing, and then everybody moves on to somebody else then who's currently playing and active, and all of a sudden
The
you're
next
like,
hot thing, yeah.
no one's asking me any questions anymore.
But sometimes, though,
asking me any questions.
but sometimes
No, it
though,
is,
you
it
don't
does
really want to
feel a
be
bit
asked
lonely.
because you're not playing. You don't want to be asked, and you're like,
Yeah.
"Oh, how's football? How are you getting on?" You don't really want to say, "Well, I haven't played in ages."
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And I could get released as well, so it's part of it. You don't really want to be asked as well. You just kind of just keep yourself to yourself. And a lot of active players just isolate themselves. Don't go out the social
Because of that, because they're worried of the questions.
Yeah, worried about that, and obviously, if you're not playing, like, because they know you're Mr. Footballer, and you're not playing, and it's awful for them.
Yeah.
It's awful. So yeah,
How'd you get on yesterday? Gaffer's still.
Do you know what I
Gaffer
mean?
won't play. I'm on the bench.
Yeah,
Like,
not there. There's a good chance I'll get released as well. And I think the contracts now as well, they're finishing the last game of the season, don't they? Sometimes, and they say don't obviously bring you into July or anything. So that's tough as well. You're having to kind of go straight into out of getting released and then having to find something financially really to keep you going. And so I speak to a lot of players in that situation, but also I speak to a lot of Prem players as well in terms of the pressure. Fans.
Is it? It's fans?
Fans on social
They're all-
media.
so, honestly,
it's like fans on social media.
Yeah,
Yeah.
but even if you're walking, so imagine you got a top player, you just want to walk your dog,
Yeah.
and you could have had a stinker the day before. You're going to get people at you, and depending on what fans they are,
I won't be able to handle that, mate.
It's hard.
You'd be kicking off.
it's hard.
Wouldn't you?
Because of course you would, but at the same time, you don't want to stay at home all day, do you? So you're trying to get
No.
yourself out, but everywhere you go, people looking at you saying, "Oh, you're fucking this and that," and also if you've got like the England players or even any other international players, men and women as well.
Yeah.
It's hard.
Well, just imagine it to that magnitude.
I wouldn't go on Twitter.
I do kind of do advise that, but sometimes
Kind of discourage that then to come off social media.
but it's hard not to for a lot of players.
But then a lot of them have got commercial commitments, and
100%.
where they
They have
have
to go on it.
They have to like they have to promote the brands that they're wearing or being sponsored by, and
the role models as well, so people actually want to see them as well and what they're doing. But obviously, whilst they're doing what they need to do, all it takes is one bad game or one bad opinion from a high profile person, you know, on Sky or whatever
Pundit,
it may be. And then up straight from there, that's when it kind of kicks off.
It's like at Big John 92 and just slagging you off on Twitter. You have to read it.
And he's sat on his couch in his underpants.
And he's
about 30 stone, never played football in his life.
Eating a pot noodle.
You shouldn't care what his opinion is. But
it's hard, though.
It's always the same. If you've got like 10 people and 9 people say, "Hey, well done, mate, you played well today," you're like, "Yeah, cheers, mate," and then one person says, "You were frigging crap," and you go, "What's that?" Well, it means more, doesn't it? Like that negative comment always means more. So, like, imagine the amount of bad games that you have. Imagine the stick that you'd get.
Oh, mate, that's why I won't go on it, because no one goes on and puts, weren't his best game today, but he really tries hard.
Yeah.
He's a fantastic lad. Everyone
I really like him.
Fat, bald, idiot.
I'm so glad I paid me £12.50 to come and watch him. He was a pleasure.
There's nothing positive on there, is there?
But imagine that, though, magnified into everywhere you go. So not just social media, but every restaurant you go to. Every time you go outside and walk your dog at park, it's like,
they're calling you dog shit.
"Hey, man, you crap." Like, bloody
Your
hell.
dog's a little prick.
Imagine being like that. Imagine being like that for like 5, even to 10 years, having to consume all of that pressure. Where does that go? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And if you're having to deal with all that pressure, then you get injured. Then when does it go again as well? And because a lot of football, let's be honest, we do have like an addictive personality, don't we? Because we're having to perfect in our position what we need to do every day. Once that's gone, where does that energy go? And that's where sometimes you can turn to gambling, alcohol, or whatever other stuff it may be. That attention goes there, so it's obviously dealing with that side of things as well. And also the identity, because think about it, if you leave school at 16, you go straight into football. You know what football's like? We're childish, aren't we?
It's just a bubble, isn't it? It's just a little, like, you're right, it's like school for the next 20 years, but you're an adult.
Yeah, exactly. So when you do retire, usually, like, I think the average is 35, isn't it?
Yeah.
So say trots, because I'm Neal at home, but in football and trots.
Yeah.
So for 15 years, I've been trots, but Neal, who's 16 and went into trots, come 35, Neal's still 16.
Yeah.
He hasn't developed in any other way, really. It's just
yeah.
been trots, and usually, because it's an exciting world, you can be drawn to trots, aren't you, because everything's going on.
Yeah.
But Neal, like, the humble side of things, he's still 16, so when you retire, like, you know, what am I doing? Think about it, if you retire at 35, like, you're kind of having to go back, aren't you, really, to figure out what life is? Because football, like you said before, it's a bubble. It's a complete bubble, and how do you adjust to life?
Literally got to start again, haven't you? And your mates have all got, like...
They're cracking on.
They've got businesses and shit, and you're like, fucking hell, I need to get a labourer's job here.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And you're like, fuck.
Well, I remember when I retired at 24, I went and then got a job as a personal trainer. And there's stuff that I used to do when I'd come into work, just like messing around in the gym, like stitching people up.
Can't have it.
You can't do it like, "Gareth, can we see you in the office, please?" And they're like, you know, for example, like, "You've been harassing, like, the girls in the kitchen," or, you know, like, or the guys in the gym, like, you.
That's just like, anyone should know that you don't harass girls.
No, not harass. No, I'm talking about, like, the old women, like, just like having a laugh with them.
Yeah. Or someone's doing a PT and you've kegged them.
Yeah, or like, "Gareth, you've put cling film on top of the toilet again. Like, it's not funny." You know, stuff like, oh, like, you know, the sellotape across the door so people are walking to it like, oh. And you think, like, I'm not in a dressing room anymore. This is a workplace, and it's. I know it's taking it to the extreme, but it is, like, because you've always lived in this bubble of this childish dressing room
just
humour.
having a laugh and just it's just taken to another level, isn't it? Really? That's where you can get away with more as well. Because if you just to do that in school, it'd be questionable, wouldn't it?
Yeah.
But the fact that everybody's doing it as well in a changing room,
It's encouraged.
You're doing it for 50.
You know it is. Like, if you're not doing practical jokes, you'll get bullied.
Yeah. And sometimes it is the fact
sensible.
And sometimes it is the survival of the strongest as well, and of the fittest. And you do I do get some clients where they can't take the changing room because it's full on. Especially if you come from like a kind of a bit of a chilled background, and you come out with loads of personalities doing the stuff you were doing.
Yeah.
And more, let's be honest. You've all been there, we know what's going on. It's a bit overwhelming, isn't it?
It's tough in a dressing room, in some places.
It is, it's hard. It really is. And also, but you don't realise there's a lot of people in change rooms who are going through it, but there's a mask. And as soon as they get home, that person is like, oh, this is absolutely shit, this life. And again, people do reach out for me for that. I say, listen, I'm just not enjoying everything. It's just the football, I'm doing what I like, but it's just it's not me anymore. I think
that's
if you're that person, you can't say to the gaffer, like, I don't feel comfortable in here, can I go in the other change room? Can you? Do you know what I mean?
Or like,
because then everyone would be like, what?
I'm not getting on with the lads in the dressing room.
Yeah.
Why? Just all the jokes and stuff, I just don't like it. Imagine if you said that. You can't say it as a player, can you?
But even if a player's struggling anyway mentally, you don't really want to tell the manager anyway, because you want to be playing, don't you?
Yeah.
Even though the manager be like, oh, it's all right, you'd be like, no, I don't really
and
want
then
to
you
risk
look
him.
weak as well.
Exactly. And that's why it's so tough.
Whereas really, you're probably strong to come out
100%,
with it.
100%.
That makes sense, yeah.
But again, it's like, you don't want to be doing it because you need to be playing. Depending on what level you're at as well, you can't really afford not to be playing.
No.
As well, so that's when I'd really do encourage people to, outside of football, just to really figure out who that, when you leave at 16, really develop that 16-year-old, so you got everything, all the bases covered, really, because it is really tough from all levels. It's not just footballers either. I speak to boxers, darts players, cricket. The darts ones are quite, because they like to go insane a little bit, even snooker as well. Imagine doing that for hours a day, all the time. It's going to drive you crazy, isn't it?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So
that's your job.
And especially because you're on your own as well.
Exactly right.
Like, at least as a footballer or like a team event, you're with your mates and you can take a bit of a day off, can't you? But imagine just on your own all the time.
10 hours
in your own
every
head.
day, yeah, just
In your
doing
own
that
head.
constantly.
And then you can get on stage.
You do that
and be
movement.
crap, and it's all on you.
You do that movement quite a lot. But it's more all day, every day.
But I get a lot of injuries, obviously.
Yeah.
That's the main one. You can never underestimate the psychological impact an injury can have.
Yeah, being injured,
everything's just gone, really. You're there to play football, and you're not playing football. And then also you see your mates playing as well. Do you know, whilst you're injured, like the ones like who are injured for like a year, that's hard, because their identity's gone. Like, even though they want to do something, they can't do it. And they're going home all the time. I would say, "How are you doing? How's the knee?
Yeah.
How's the ankle?" And I was like, "It's the same way it was a couple of weeks ago."
Yeah.
Like, stop asking, and having to do that every day, and then going into the manager. Sometimes managers don't want to know you, do they? When you're injured, they're just like, "Oh, I don't want to see you," and you come home and you're doing the same thing. And sometimes if you're injured by yourself as well, it's even worse. Just you and the physio for how long, and you miss out a lot. And a lot of players, again, they're just completely. They've gone under, and then because they're so bored, they try and do other stuff. It could be, like I said, it could be gambling or whatever it is, just to distract their minds. Yeah, because it's so hard. But I do think clubs can do better, if I'm being honest.
Yeah.
I know they have a few things in place, but the main thing for football is just want to feel safe and have a go-to person, because sometimes that person will have a kind of connection to the manager, and you're kind of scared to do that just in case it does get to him.
It gets back, yeah.
Have you had a call where you're like, why is this guy ringing me? Like a big name?
No, yeah, well, I've had big names, yeah, but that's all good.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I get it now. Like, don't get me wrong, if it just started off, yeah, but now that I feel like I'm reasonably experienced, I kind of encourage all the top players to come and speak, because I've got a few friends who are top players. So it's not like do you know what I mean? I'm not used to it, and also they're just human beings.
Yeah.
I know they might be top players, but deep down they're just human beings who have a family, who are just kind of doing their own thing. It just so happens that the talent's got into a place where they're really famous. But that doesn't mean, like I said, that 16-year-old just needs to understand a little bit about what's going on about them, about life, and about other people as well.
I think that's the biggest thing as well for me, like just understanding that they are humans, and if somebody shouts something derogative at you, it still hurts them. Do you know what I mean? Like just because they're like famous footballer and they're playing on TV, like if someone degrades you and says how bad you are, like it still hurts you just as much. But the fans don't seem to sometimes appreciate that. Like, and you think, like, would you say that to his face in a pub? Do you know what I mean?
I got top player actually.
Probably not.
He obviously plays for the Prem, and he was just in I'm trying to think without saying too much. Say a couple of years ago, they were saying, "Oh, look at this players not even signing autographs and all that." But ultimately, they're shit scared. Don't know, do you know what I mean? They don't know what they're going to say to him because like they might have had a bad game. Like if I stop for this this fan now, they might have the phone out and they're going to say loads of stuff to me. So I think the best thing for a lot of football is just to ignore them. It's not like they're being ignorant. It's the fact that they're protecting themselves.
Yeah, and it looks like they're being ignorant.
Yeah, but they're not. It's
like,
probably shit scared of what they might say because, do you know what I mean? That could go on social media. And also they might be a bit embarrassed as well because nobody wants to have a bad game. But when it's highlighted, when you have a bad game, it gets a bit embarrassing as well, doesn't it? Sometimes
you can't do right for wrong there, can you?
Exactly.
No. And it is hard to put a brave face on and smile and like sign autographs and be nice to everyone when you've had a stinker.
It's one of the hardest things.
Yeah.
So imagine having to deal with that all the time, but not really having to, depending obviously what the family situation is. They might be coming from a family where like it's like you're the golden child, you need to be doing this.
Yeah.
We need this. There's a lot of pressure. So where do you go if you can't go home to your family, you can't go to friends, and even football? What do you actually do? It's so isolating for a lot of players.
Yeah, mad.
Yeah, it's good. No, mate, it's brilliant what you're doing. Do you have a company name where people can reach out and stuff like that?
Website nealtrotman.com.
Right.
Yeah, just go there and you see all the details there. nealtrotman.com. Emails. Again.
Trots, innit?
Yeah, trots. And then the emails, let's talk at nealtrotman.com as well. So
right, perfect. I will stick them on the media stuff. So going back then, you started off at Burnley.
Yeah.
Go on the Clarets.
I left home at 16 to live in Burnley for 2 years.
Whereabouts in Burnley?
Pretty much the same, Levenshulme to Burnley. Not much difference.
Yeah, it's a bit of a culture shock. But I went to Clitheroe. Did I stay in Padiham? I didn't go in Padiham, but I had 3 houses there. First one was unreal. And
we lived in digs in Clitheroe or in Burnley?
It might have been Clitheroe, yeah.
Clitheroe's nice.
Clitheroe's lovely.
Yeah. You by yourself, do you know what I mean?
Posh is Clitheroe.
Yeah, and he had 3 houses there. The first one I shared with one of the lads there. We both got kicked out, coming in late.
They did, or you did?
Well, we were, but it was like on a Sunday coming home from Manchester home. You want to be with your family, so I had an issue with that. Second one.
You weren't on the piss?
No, nothing like that. No, nothing like that. It's just,
not that weekend.
And the second one, she said, "Oh yeah, we're moving out." So obviously, because it's Christmas in the UT, you get to go on for a couple of weeks, don't you? So yeah, just let us know when you're ready, and we'll tell you where our new house is. Called him, fucking no answer at all. So I had to travel from Manchester to Burnley every day as a U-team player, just to Burnley were getting a house sorted. And then finally ended up going with an elderly couple who were in their 70s. It was unreal. They were absolutely
just fantastic. Wait, let's just go back to that. Do you watch Only Fools and Horses?
No.
I mean, you've just had a bit of an Uncle Albert moment there. So you've gone home for Christmas and they said they're moving house.
Yeah, so
contact me. I'll let you know how to address.
We don't fucking ring you.
Just blanked you.
Yeah, so I was calling him.
Is that Neal ringing again? Don't answer, love. Don't answer.
Because when I called him as well, so it was ringing out. I was like, well, okay. And so obviously someone was like, oh shit, and then I tried to call him again after that, and he just, you've been blocked.
He's the reason we've moved.
But I was going to say they were fine. I was hardly there as well, and.
I wonder why that is.
No idea. And we ended up found another one with an elderly couple. I think they were in the 70s, 80s. And they were great.
They were great.
Yeah, unreal.
And you was in the same youth team as my pal Earl Davis.
Earl Davis, yeah. When I moved to when I was a first year, he was a first year pro.
Right.
So we'd have done his first, second, and third, and then now he's a pro. Yeah. He went to the same school as me as well.
You'd have been. Well, same position, similar size as well,
yeah,
wouldn't you? Like, how big are you?
6'4", just under.
Yeah, so I bet Earl's about the same, isn't he?
Yeah. And,
imagine that up front.
Imagine them two side by side.
No, but Earl, he was a striker as well, Earl. Yeah.
When he first started?
Yeah, he was a striker. And obviously moved to centre half. And
I've got to say, he couldn't move.
That's what I mean. And so now, from similarly, he's from Burnley, John from Windsor, it's not too far away. And we went to the same school, and
so
did right.
Earl had to put up with some stick in Burnley.
I bet.
Because like Earl's like one of my best pals, and he said he used to finish training sometimes he used to train at the back of the turf. I think there was like a 3G pitch or something like that.
Yeah. Cricket club now.
I think so, yeah. And then he used to walk through the Burnley town centre with his kit on because he had to take it home and wash it. And obviously he's like 6'4" black guy, and he used to get dogs abuse. To be like, yeah, don't you effing wear that kit. Like, just
It's a mad town.
Yeah, well, to be honest,
imagine that as a 16, 17-year-old, and
Yeah.
you've got the fans like racially abusing you walking through town.
I
But he did it every day. He was like, I weren't going to stop him. I weren't going to stop them making me walk back to me.
Yeah,
house. So
exactly.
he just used to just do
That's
it every
what he
day.
shouldn't as well, yeah.
Fair play to him.
And yeah, you always obviously you do go into certain situations, certain times where you feel like, oh, I have to be pretty careful here. Do you know what I mean? And yeah, I'll probably say Burnley probably was. I remember how I got into Burnley. My school was decent. We ended up being the school English champions. And they watched us on Channel 5 ages ago. And so, yeah, well, let's get a trial with them. And it's Fletcher Moss. A lot of from the school team played for Fletcher Moss. And so Fletcher Moss v Burnley, we beat them 2-0. And then we were going down there to play for Burnley. And there was a big Tesco there, isn't there?
Yeah.
And it said vote BNP.
On the chimney. There was a massive chimney there. Vote BNP.
So all the obviously all the Fletcher Moss, like the majority of us were black anyway. And we were like, what's going on here? Do you know what I mean? And then we played them, so already we were on it. Do you know, we were ready to play. We ended up beating them, and I was like, a lot of us got scouted as well.
Oh, so is that, and that's how you joined Burnley?
Yeah, there's quite a few of us. My brother, I got a twin brother, he was there. Wayne, Danny Welbeck's brother there as well.
Yeah.
Wayne.
Wayne Welbeck.
Yeah, and a few of us.
Some name,
yeah, so it was good, yeah. And ended up cracking on, staying in Burnley till I was 18 after getting released.
Yeah, and then you got released and went to
Oldham. Yeah, I went to Oldham. Because I'll be honest, I know everyone says it, but I wasn't expecting to get released. Do you know what I mean? Because I was actually doing okay. And then Tony Philiskirk, Oldham U2 manager, called and said, yeah, come down. So
I love it when it happens all the time, but like, it'd be like, hiya, Neal, do you want to come into Oldham? I'm all right. I'm at Burnley.
Yeah.
Well, actually.
And so I was like, I got released, and I kind of looking back now, I was always going to make it because of how I wanted to, because I got released, and you do like my agent will call, but I was doing it myself because I didn't want to leave my kind of fate, to put my fate into somebody else's hands. So I was calling around. Just unfortunately, it was a no. And then Tony Phillips got called, and they said, "Listen, do you want to come down pre-season?" Did that. Listen, I suppose I've had a holiday as well, which I cancelled because I thought, okay, this is probably once in a lifetime for me. I'm not going to get this chance again.
Where were you going?
That's class.
Where was you going?
But many people haven't done that.
Where was you supposed to be going?
Malia. I know, yeah.
With the boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, you cancelled it. Fair play.
I'd have been in Malia.
Yeah, you'd have lost out. Yeah, that's why you're at Radcliffe.
Yeah, so I cancelled it. I was anything there. And so cancelled it. Ended up going on trial for Oldham. What was it now? I think I was on £30 a week for a year. For a good year.
Beautiful.
Because I was with the PFA then.
You live in digs in Oldham?
No, I was had to travel.
Just travel.
Yeah, I was on trial. I was a trialist.
For a year?
Yeah, because I got injured.
Right.
I got injured so pre-season. I was flying at Oldham and ended up doing my my cartilage, and that's when I put basically that much of cartilage in a jar when an operation. But fair play to Tony Philiskirk and Oldham. They said, listen, just stay with us and see how you get on. Ended up getting fit, doing all right, and then they give me a 3-month contract. And then that's when John Sheridan.
Yeah.
He ended up being a manager, and he said, listen, you've got half a chance here. Just keep your head down, keep doing what you're doing, and then ended up getting a chance and playing really for Oldham first team.
And do you remember your debut coming on as a substitute?
Was it the FA Cup?
Yeah, Cheltenham.
Did it score? No.
No.
Yeah. I think we got beat, didn't we?
You scored 4th of November in your second appearance
Oh, was it the second one?
in
Yeah.
the FA Cup against Kettering.
Yeah, that was it. Yeah.
Did you not play for Kettering?
No, not back in them days. Flipping heck.
Yeah. So
What year were we on there? 2000 and 2006, 2007.
Yeah, 2006.
No, I was retired then. I was playing pranks on the old women in the fitness centre.
So that would have been about a year after I got released and injury and everything.
Right.
And did that. Ended up going on loan. After that, I had a few games. Ended up going on loan to Halifax, where Chris Wilder was the manager.
Right.
Yeah, and he was class as well.
Was it?
Yeah, his team talks were always an important game because we were fighting relegation in the what was then the conference. And it's like big game. Obviously, I've been on champ manager all night, And I come up with this formation. I did it and it worked, so we won. So I'm going to do it now. And we were like, looking at it and said, what? Anyway, he did it, and obviously it wasn't because of that, but that's what he said. And we ended up winning. We ended up staying up with him. But his energy was class. Honestly, his energy was, you can tell where he is now.
Yeah.
Just how he is with people. And he's ruthless, but also he's good at it as well. His people around him are good, and just him as a character, he's good.
Yeah, he's done well, to be fair.
He's done really well, hasn't he?
Fact.
Yeah, I think that's what comes across, how passionate he is, isn't it?
Yeah. Honestly, he's just such a nice guy, and he's honest, and I can see where there's no surprise where he is now, because in terms of his man management and obviously his tactics as well, and just his energy. You see the managers, like, you're talking, but you're just thinking, you can't be asked, can you? Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You fucking hate us.
You're just saying it, yeah.
Yeah, you don't like us, and you just wish something was going to happen at the end of the season, but he was actually passionate, he was involved in it, and you could just tell with his energy that he was going to get somewhere.
Class that. How did the move to Preston come then? Because
that was your move, wasn't it?
Yeah, I was buzzing, to be fair, because I was playing.
what league were Preston in?
Champ.
Were they in the Champ?
Yeah, they're in the Championship, and ended up making my debut. Not my debut. Ended up playing again because I did all right at Halifax, and Shez, the manager, John Sheridan, he got me into the first team at Oldham. And he says, you got half a chance. And I remember the last game of pre-season was a reserve game. I had a stinker. And he absolutely handed me in front of anyone. He really embarrassed me. And from there, I was like, right, I'm going to fucking show you. If you know what I mean. You obviously knew what he was doing.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? And that's what kind of got me, really. And I was waiting for my chance, and I just wanted to take it. And it did that. Made my debut. No, not my debut. I made another appearance against Bristol Rovers when Ricky Lambert was up front. Had a bit of a stinker, to be honest.
What, him playing against you?
Yeah, I just wasn't, I'm not going to play against Ricky Lamberts all the time, am I? So it took me a while to adjust to that. And
how good was he at that level?
yeah, it's a walk in the park.
Yeah,
and then I ended up playing with him again later at Southampton. But that when I played against Bristol Rovers, then he was just, he was coming into it a little bit.
Yeah.
I think he just left Rochdale or somewhere. So he had a bit, but he wasn't kind of, I don't think he knew how good he was.
Yeah.
If that makes sense.
He was still a bricky, wasn't he, in his head there?
Yeah, do you know what I mean? You could just tell.
Started off as a midfielder, you know.
Lambert did.
Yeah.
Did he?
Started off as a midfielder.
I can see it. He's got on the ball though.
Yeah, really. Yeah.
Yeah, when the ball.
And then he went up front and started banging goals in, and then went from there.
It's a big midfielder, that, isn't it?
Yeah.
Think about it. And so then I ended up doing that. Ended up staying in the team. I think I only played about 20 games, before the January window was there. And then Preston put $500,000 in for me.
Yeah, $500,000.
Yeah. And Plymouth did first, so I didn't want to go to Plymouth. And
why is that too far away?
Yeah, I was a homebody. Close to my brother and my sister, twin brother, and my mates as well. So I didn't want to go to Plymouth. I just wasn't ready for that. And ended up going to Preston. As I was telling you earlier about my medical, like I said, I shouldn't have. I don't know how I passed it. Like I remember going there. The last game.
Was you worried about the medical before you went?
Yeah, of course I was.
Was you?
Yeah, of course
you had it
I
in
was.
your
I
head.
needed a hernia operation as well. I mean, my knee was hanging off, and but I think the timing of it was perfect for me because it was literally the last day.
The doctor was on holiday.
No, yeah, but they needed to get it over the line because they rejected somebody for me, and they already signed. I think they signed for Leeds. I can't remember who it was, and then I got a phone call of is it Paul Neal, the manager. He was the manager. He used to be the old Wigan manager.
Paul Jewell,
sorry.
Paul Jewell.
And he used to come to Derby. Like obviously we're going to get relegated, but you can have a few Prem games. Then I called my agent. I was like, listen, he just called. Listen, we're actually here now. Like you probably not even get there in time because I was there late as well.
Right. Was it on the last day or something?
Yeah, last day. And then obviously Preston says, well, okay, tell Preston, get me an extra bit more money. Say this is what I'm going to do. And they don't get me money, and they basically ended up getting online. But I think it was fucking just get him signed. I think that's what it was.
Without doing a medical?
Yeah, they did a medical.
Basically,
but
yeah. A quick one.
Yeah.
It's that thing where they knock your knee. Yeah. Yep. That'll do.
Can you cough, sir? There you go.
Sign it.
Yeah, and ended up doing that, and then about 2 weeks later, ended up having a hernia operation, and then played a couple of games before the end of the season. Did really well as well. Did really well in the games. I think I come on against Plymouth actually, and then played against Ipswich. Did well, and then had a scan on my knee just to kind of Plymouth. Preston saying to make sure everything's all right for the next season. Ended up having a microfracture. Kept me out for a year. So in the space of 2 years of getting released from Burnley, ended up having an operation, being on trial for a year on £30 a week, And like
to then getting a move.
Yeah, to then going to then getting in the first team eventually. Like, I did it. Do you know what I mean? I'm buzzing. Having another operation there at Oldham. Then getting a move to Preston. All that, obviously, the January was crazy. And then having a hernia, playing games in the Championship, thinking fucking hell. Then having another kind of scan, and then out for a year. So I was out for it. Go on.
Talk to me about what a microfracture is, because I obviously I know.
Yeah, so basically, like you said, there's your two bones, and then the microfracture's in the middle. You know, like the shock thing you were talking about before. So like it's support, isn't it?
Yeah.
And so basically, I had mine removed, my cartilage, so they drilled into my bone, and the scar tissue what developed was actually as a cartilage, basically. And obviously, throughout the years, you're going to wear it down, aren't you? So you're going to need another one. So I had that at 21, not 20 actually. And so I always knew it was always going to be quite short term without actually believing it, but even though I did believe it, if that makes sense. And ended up, I was injured for years. So I was parking on, so that's probably the lowest part of my career.
Yeah, because you've gone through all that, being released, breaking through, thinking you've made it, get your move, and then
back to square one.
Yeah.
Back, worse than square one.
Exactly.
You're injured, aren't you?
Don't get me wrong. I was in a different position financially.
Yeah.
You didn't have to worry about that.
Yeah.
You know what though? Like, that financial stability is great only up to a point.
Certain point. And
like people always say, oh, why is he worried? He's on flipping 100 grand a week, which is fair enough.
That was a distraction for me. The money was a distraction for me.
Was it?
About actually going to the actual kind of issue itself, which was the pain of not actually doing what I wanted, going through what I've been through, like a roller coaster throughout the years. And then throughout that year, I was injured. I was isolated, I was by myself, and ended up getting back. I ended up playing for Colchester. Went on loan to Colchester. Paul Lambert was the manager. And we played Leicester, did really well, and then come back. Yeah, we played Millwall as well. Played well, and I got back, and they were in the playoffs against Sheffield United. And I was thinking, no, I'm not going to play, but I could at least be in a squad, which I was. And no, it was towards the end of the last game of the season when we cemented the playoffs. I was in a squad and ended up having a training session, and ended up having a stroke in training. So I ended up having a stroke in training. Like, everything was just going along, and I did all the tests and everything, and I just put it down to what was going on over me over the past years. On the roller coaster.
Just stress?
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it was stress of not playing. It's the lowest
a stroke induced stress, though?
I didn't know, but I personally think it was that. Because everything was going so isolated. And what I did as well, from football, I had the opportunity just to forget about football and go home, where I could just be me. I was talking about Neal, like at 16, but I was developing as who I am as a person, and like Neal, so I was going home and wanted to forget about football. But when I was in football, I dreaded it.
Did you?
Yeah, because I wasn't happy. Do you know what I mean? I wasn't playing. I was injured all the time. And I just think, in my personal opinion anyway, I think that's what it caused it, really. Just everything that was going on over the years. Roller coaster. And
so go on, tell me, like...
It's a mad career, that.
Yeah, how did that feel in training then?
Do you know... this might sound random, but the only thing I can do... You've watched Terminator, right? Terminator 2?
Yeah.
And she has like a dream where it's just fire. I don't know what it is if you're on it, but it's just slow motion. That's what it was like. Everything was just slow motion. And I was watching people. My head was right. But
so was you running? Was you moving around?
Yeah, so I was training. It was small-sided.
And did you feel any pain anywhere?
No, because what it was, it's a blood clot went into my brain.
Right.
And from there, it's when I felt really, really like dizzy. And I was walking, but I was floating at the same time. And the coach called Billy Barr, he looked at me like that. He basically said, "Oh shit." And that's when I knew it was kind of wrong, and something was up. And I remember doing all the blackberries.
Yeah, BBM.
Yeah, BBM. I had a BlackBerry, and I knew my passcode. I tried to type it, I couldn't get it. I just couldn't get the function, even though I knew what it was in my head. I just couldn't do it. Anyway, my left side's like drooped as well, and had all the tests. One of the side effects I had actually was I had a nervous laugh, but like it was ridiculous. You know, I was getting all the tests in my brain and everything else. I just couldn't stop laughing.
Yeah.
So while they were trying to be serious, like, yeah, this is what's happening, I just couldn't stop laughing to the point where it was uncomfortable for everyone else.
Second pace.
Yeah. So it was so uncomfortable in the room, and but I couldn't stop it. I think it was like 2-3 months.
That's
it was
a real knee slapper.
Do you know what I mean? And when we come back for pre-season, like team talks, I was having to go like that, you know, look away for the team.
Also, it went on.
Yeah, it went on for a little.
You're getting a bollocking at full time. You're just like,
Stood at a funeral.
I know, yeah. So I did that and recovered fine. I didn't make a big deal out of it because I know that people. I wish I did actually because it kind of would have given people hope.
Yeah.
Do you know, we've had it, but I didn't want to make it like as if he's ill. But I'm like, I know people will survive that.
Gaffers, you mean?
That as well.
Yeah.
What was the reaction though of them bringing you back in? Because like as a club and a manager and things like that, like something like that happens, you then wary of bringing that. Like,
yeah, I had all the tests. It came back clear, and also I don't think they want to let that out anyway because then they'll have the fans in their back. You sign somebody who hasn't really played much, and then if they wanted to sell me on as well, who's going to sign me?
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? So so there's also that as well. They were probably protecting themselves, whilst they said they were protecting me, but ultimately you kind of know why they were doing it. So I got back fit, ended up going on loan to Huddersfield and Southampton. Southampton was great. Obviously,
2 class clubs there, isn't it?
yeah, 2 big clubs as well.
Yeah, we ended up having Southampton where the plays were.
What was Southampton League One then?
Yeah, they were pushing obviously for. I think they had that 10-point deduction. Do you remember? They had that 10-point deduction.
Yeah. Who were the players in that league then? In that
team.
In that team.
Kelvin Dave was the keeper.
Right.
Who was centre back with me? Do you remember Chris Perry? He was
Rings a bell, that.
Yeah,
Tottenham centre half.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, he was there. Radhi Jaidi. He was at Birmingham.
Oh, yeah, he was at Bolton.
Yeah, he was
Had
at Bolton
Lambert
as well.
moved there from.
Yeah, Ricky Lambert.
Yeah.
Adam Lallana. Schneiderlin.
That weren't the year they went up then, is
No,
it?
the year before.
Right. Okay.
Just missed out, and that's when Oxley Chamberlain. He was in school and he ended up having a training session with us. He's running the show. Yeah, he ran the show.
Was he that good?
Yeah, he was running the show. Do you know, like you get there like a floater,
Yeah.
and anyway, I think he was floating. Oh, he was like he was anyway because he was
As like
everywhere.
a 15-year-old.
Yeah, and he was literally running the show. It was ridiculous. He was just so kind of just good, and
he should have been in school. Like that.
yeah, honestly, he was so good, honestly, and they had a great team.
Imagine that, Neal. Could you mark him, please, for today? Yeah, no worries, Gaffer. 15-year-old, I'll smash him.
Mikel Antonio, he come as well. He was on loan from Reading.
Right.
And who else? Yeah, that was it really. Just obviously the Schneiderlins. It was a great team. Pardew was the manager.
Some team in that then.
Alan Pardew, he was the manager. He's
Right.
he was a character. He was funny, but he's good though. You can tell like he's why he was been a Prem manager because he's literally switched on and just knows everything. But he's having himself a bit.
What was well,
It does come across like that.
yeah, he does. Yeah.
But I think he needed to get to a certain
What
point
about
from
his?
that.
Have you seen? You must see his dance. His dance celebration. What a guy!
Yeah, I know.
But what was the biggest thing that impressed you about him, Alan Pardew?
How he would kind of speak to the so-called big names. Like he wasn't arrogant, but he was kind of like, I'm on your level, so don't take the piss, basically.
Like a
Does that make
confidence
sense?
thing, yeah.
But the ones who were, you could kind of speak down, but in a funny way.
Yeah, I don't mind that though, because if you've got to be in charge of that dressing room, you can't then portray that them players who are sat in front of you are bigger than you.
So he's like, I'm also a big name.
Yeah,
Exactly. And
I don't mind that.
And tactically, obviously, his players, he was just switched on, and in terms of how he was with people, with the teams. I mean, there's one game I think we played against Charlton. I can't remember who was on the wing. There's a guy called Dan Harding, the left back. We had, I think it was Thursday and Friday. We just had a session on him. So if you just focus on the right winger, your left back, this is what I want you to do. Or honestly, for the whole thing, it was just all on Dan Harding, how he defends and everything else. He did that, ended up getting man of the match. We ended up, I think we won the game. But it's ultimately, if we didn't do that, we probably would have lost the game. You knew where the problem was, and that was all it was. Really.
I suppose after games like that, you have like a newfound respect for the managers to go, well, he's called it. It's done. It's done exactly what he said,
about.
and then we've gone and won the game.
He didn't come across like he was winging it, that's for sure. And he just knew what he was talking about. Even the team talk, he was just so switched on. Also because obviously you come down to League One from the Prem, people are going to listen to him anyway.
Yeah,
You've got players that actually want to get to the Prem, especially like Adam Lallana. Do you know what I mean? Schneiderlin and all those, Lambert, they actually weren't going to listen to you. So I think that helped him as well. Definitely did help.
That's the thing. Like he's done his tactics. You've ended up winning the game, and then afterwards, like you're like, oh well, next time he says something, I'm gonna believe in what he's saying. Yeah, I'm gonna believe it.
Was you one of the big names or not?
No. Well, you know, they weren't who they were. Probably the biggest name was probably Lambert, I'd say, because he was literally just a joke in terms of how he was. But such a nice guy, probably one of the nicest guys you'll ever meet. I definitely wasn't a big name in terms of. Would it be?
Yeah. So he was bantering you off, kind of. The way he was. like you said, the ones who weren't the big names, he would sort of like have them off a bit.
Yeah, because I remember having a bad game, and me and Jahidi actually we had a bad game. So Jahidi, this was that, I get it. You must have been Neal Trots, and then just moved on. Do you know what I mean? So it's like, okay, you didn't focus on, but he was quite funny in how he would talk as well. But I'm guessing if he didn't like you, would probably just step aside a little bit as well.
Because a lot of them players went on to do really, really well.
Play for England, play for the countries as well, especially Schneiderlin, Lallana,
Lambert.
They were always going to be, though, if I'm being honest.
Were they that good when you was around them?
Yeah, we had oldies v young, and obviously they were youngers, and the oldies used to beat the youngs the youngest used to beat all the oldies all the time. You know, in training, like the Friday side on a Friday.
How old were them lads have been, like Lallana and people
21,
like?
22.
Right, okay.
So, yes, we just used to beat them all the time. And they were just so good, though, in terms of how they were, the skill, and the confidence as well. All of them are good lads. All of them are good lads. You don't really hear much about them, do you? Any negatives?
No.
They're just top guys, really.
Good professionals, just...
Yeah, I think, that's the whole thing with Southampton. You could tell why, because Southampton are renowned for having a good youth setup, aren't they? And you can just tell how they are and how the culture they've been brought up in within the club and how they acted, yeah.
There used to be a programme on it, didn't there? On Southampton's academy. Like Walcott was on it.
Something like Inside the Dell or something like
Something
that.
like that,
Yeah,
it was a belter.
Yeah, and you could just tell that they were kind of a level above, really. And they had a good mixture of like the experienced pros and the young ones as well. And I think the season after, I think they went up in the playoffs, didn't they?
Yeah.
Or I think they
And
won
then
the league.
enjoyed your loan there. You played like 20 odd games, and then Huddersfield 20 odd games, and then
Huddersfield was good.
Was it?
Yeah, they had Lee Peltier.
Yeah.
Peter Clark.
Played against him the other week.
Who was the manager?
Yeah.
Lee Clark.
Lee Clark was the
He's
manager.
class as well. He's just a top guy. Terry McDermott was the assistant as well, and he was class. Obviously the Liverpool connections there and everything else.
Lee Clark, would that have been one of his
First ones?
Yeah, first managers.
Yeah,
wasn't
but
it?
he did well. We had Anthony Pilkington, Guy Roberts, Danny Drinkwater.
Yeah.
Theo Robinson, Jordan Rhodes.
Some great players in that team.
Yeah,
Weren't
and Jack Hunt as well, the right back.
Yeah.
So we had some good play. Got to the playoffs, got beat by Millwall. It's a fair day. We were always going to go up in just in terms of I think they missed out the season before, so they were ready. We were a bit kind of naive.
So did you do Southampton first half of the season, Huddersfield the second?
Yeah,
right, okay.
Yeah, and I nearly signed for Huddersfield at the end of the season, but nearly signed. And then I think I didn't. I was going to say nearly extended for Southampton, but I didn't sign that Jose Font. Fair enough. Yeah. And
he was there for a while, weren't he? As well?
Yeah, too right. He was good.
Yeah, he was. Yeah, he was good. Yeah.
And I went to Huddersfield, which was good. I nearly signed for them, but I think Ferguson wanted to have another look at me, so it's like I didn't. And Ferguson said to me as well. We ended up pre-season because I was number 4. You know, and this is me back at Preston now. Like, but at the same time, going back to Millwall in the playoffs, I was buzzing because, like, rewind a year ago, I was having a stroke.
Yeah,
I was in the hospital bed watching Preston and Sheffield United in the playoffs. So I kind of it was a nice moment for me, you know, to kind of get to the playoffs again, knowing what I've been through over the past whatever it was.
Near enough exactly a year as well.
Yeah, exactly.
That's unreal, like.
Yeah, so I was buzzing with that, and then I went back to Preston pre-season, buzzing, thinking I'm getting the team. Then Ferguson, it's probably my fault really. Ferguson said, I usually go with 3 centre-backs and you're number 4. Well, okay, because they were going my bay for pre-season. I was like, well, because I just had a season of playing 40-odd games I need to play again, so I'll probably go out on loan. And he didn't like that, basically. He wanted me to fight. And I wish, obviously, I didn't really know how it was going on there. Yeah. And I think he took offence to that, really. And
Did they?
Not offence, but he was a bit surprised how I didn't want to work for that. And I just felt like I couldn't afford to because I needed to play games.
Yeah.
And anyway, ended up being pre-season finished, and I was still at the club trying to go out on loan. Then I went on loan to Oldham. We were in League One at the time. It was all right. Played a few games. Paul Dickoff was the manager.
Yeah.
And ended up going out. Ended up getting injured, and then the guy who was making his debut was James Tarkowski. Okay, you know what I mean?
Right.
And anyway, he didn't look back from there. And then anyway, that finished.
See, even that, like, you forget that he came through Oldham and stuff like that.
Exactly. I know. And
you think it was a red the other night?
Yeah, he didn't mean to do what he did. I don't think. You know, I don't think he meant to.
I think he meant to do it, but I still don't think it's a red. Like, it's a derby, isn't it?
Which one was it? I've not
seen it.
No.
Yeah, you don't watch.
I don't know. He broke his leg.
Fucking hell, mate.
Is it bad?
Yeah. Well, he gets the ball and then, you know, as you bring your feet up, just done that McAllister.
He's not like that though. I saw him a couple of years ago, and it's not his nature.
Right.
It's just that he's just one of those centre halves. So I think he just wanted to get the ball, and don't you do that? You leave something on someone. I don't think he meant to kind of.
Yeah, snap his leg.
Do you know what I mean?
He didn't snap his leg.
Oh, right.
but I don't
It's
know.
close to it, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And ended up going to Rochdale as well after that.
Is that with TK? Is that where?
That's who it was.
Yeah.
Tom Kennedy.
No, he
Was he
wasn't.
not there?
No.
He was telling us about him though, wasn't he?
Yeah, I thought.
Sure he was.
Maybe
Yeah.
he was.
Tom Kennedy.
The manager was.
Yeah.
The manager was. It's the fucking manager.
He
Steve
told us
Ayres.
yesterday at golf today.
Yeah.
Sure he did. Yeah. Anyway.
Probably did then. Sorry.
He's not remembered him.
And I killed an hell of it.
I don't remember him. He's on
And Steve Ayres was the manager. He wasn't ready for it though.
Was he not?
No, he wasn't. I think he was a good assistant manager. He was a good kind of youth team manager coach
Yeah.
as well. He did all the City ones, with Mika Richards and all the top players coming through. That was his kind of niche, I thought, and he just kind of take it on to first team, which I don't think he was ready for. You'll probably tell you that as well.
By this point, though, you were picking everything he did apart.
Yeah, there's certain things he was. Yeah, you're right.
You
Because obviously what I've been
like-
through, I was just understanding it all. Even and even now, it's like I don't think he wasn't ready really. And that's when Nicky Adams was in the change room as well. And,
Right.
Yeah, and I ended up going to because I didn't like it. And I ended up playing against Chesterfield, where Shez was the manager, John Sheridan.
Oh, so he
For the third time.
Yeah.
And he did all. I did all right. I said, "Listen, Shez, he sorted me out." No, I had done that. I was when I went to Plymouth actually. He wanted to kind of get me in. He realised I could go out, and then Steve was saying, "Yeah, probably have him." Ended up going to Chesterfield. Did all right there. He put me captain actually,
right.
and I got injured. Ended up having an operation, and
So how many operations are we on now? Then by this time,
about 6, 7.
6 or 7.
Yeah.
Right. Okay.
And it was only
See,
like,
that's tough. That because what are you? 25.
I was 23, 24.
20
Not 24 then, yeah. 23, 24. And ended up going to Chesterfield. It was good. I enjoyed that.
Chesterfield on loan at first, and then they ended up signing you as a permanent, didn't they?
Yeah, to buy. And ended up going. I was there for a few months and put me captain, playing against Huddersfield actually. It was good. And Shez got sacked. And that's what got us. So I got injured towards the end of the season, and we were fighting for relegation. And fighting to get out of relegation.
Yeah, I was going to say, you
Oh,
was
yeah.
fighting for
Can't
it.
wait to get relegated. We got relegated as well with Rochdale.
Right.
And started the season, because I had an operation in the pre-season. Tried to get back, I wasn't fit, and a few players weren't fit as well. Was it Mark Richards, the striker? And he was one of the top players there. He wasn't coming. He was injured a little bit as well. Anyway, Shez got sacked. I think it was probably around September, October, and Paul Cook ended up coming in, and
Right.
he had his own players. To be fair to him, he completely bombed me out, which is fine. Like he's a manager, but he did have me in on a Sunday at 5:30.
In the morning.
No, in the flipping evening, by himself with the physio.
I'm going to say.
Either or's not
Just
great.
as bad, isn't it?
Either
PM and
one's not,
everything. Yeah, and
Why though? For what reason?
he wiped me out.
Oh, did I? Just trying to force you out?
Yeah, he wiped me out. But
Piss
Was
you
he
off.
in on the Sunday as well?
no, it was it was just me and the physio. He wanted him out as well. He did. He wanted the physio out as well because he wanted his
Did
own
they?
people. And he's actually, to be fair, Paul Cook now he's sound. He's
Yeah,
like,
yeah.
I get what he was trying to do. And I remember once.
Still, there's a better way to do it, though. Isn't
Yeah,
there?
of course. But I wasn't experienced, but I kind of was knowing what you tried, what you wanted to do. And then there's a training session. You come in, it's like me being on a Sunday, and just being injured anyway. He's like, Trots, I'm going to break you, I said, I don't think you will, Because he didn't realise, but at the time, I was seeing somebody who was in Chesterfield because he thought I was travelling from Manchester every day.
Right.
But I was all right. I was just going around the corner. Do you know what I mean? So,
So he
he didn't realise, he thought I was travelling. Yeah, I'm going to get into his head, but really, I was just going there, really, just having a nice little kip and everything. And after that, he ended up putting me in against Fenway because he needed to play.
Yeah.
Because he bought Liam Cooper in as well.
Right.
And he was decent.
Yeah.
And ended up playing for Akinfenwa, me against Akinfenwa in January. And
How was that? Because he was.
He's a unit.
He was.
yeah, I played against him a few times though.
Have you?
Yeah, it was all right. I did really well against him. Probably the best game I had against him. Yeah, I think he ended up coming off about 60th minute.
Is that because it's just a battle?
Yeah.
Like strength on
Yeah,
strength.
yeah,
Like,
yeah.
do you find it harder against the quick, off your shoulder, that kind of
Yeah, of
strikers or
course.
not?
Yeah, like anything in the air and like a little battle, it's happy days, isn't it?
Yeah.
That's why when Lambert was I didn't mind playing against Lambert because as long as you just keep, do you know what I mean? Straight Swansea were just going in and around and everywhere, like Jordan Rhodes.
Yeah.
He's like a bit of a nightmare. He's just like, fucking hell, he was have a day off. Do you know what I mean? Yeah.
Where the fuck's he now?
Do you know what I mean? You're just like, fucking hell. But ended up playing the rest of the games then. From January, he kept me in, so I think he respected me then a little bit, for not being an egg, because I'm not, I kind of knew what he was doing. And my knees as well, fucking hell. They were in bits then, they were literally on fire. Yeah,
Were there every game?
Yeah.
Every training session?
Probably since Rochdale. I'll be honest with you, since then I was having to ice my knee every day. I was like, for every
Was you telling the physios or you just going home and doing it?
the physio knew anyway because of my records, but I wouldn't make it a big deal. If I could go home and do it, I would do it because I don't want anyone to see me icing my knees all the time. And
Was it not easier when you was playing? Because then you'd have like a easy session Monday. Whereas if you're not playing, then you've got to proper try hard all week then, haven't you?
But luckily, back then, in terms when I was at Chesterfield, but I was injured as well at the same time, so it was all right. But luckily, after that, I was playing anyway with my injuries, so I'd have a day off, like the next day, recover and everything, and go again.
Yeah.
Some days I couldn't train. And like you heard about Led the King not training.
Yeah.
That was me at one point.
Was it?
He's got my injury, but on both knees, and I think he's got it in the inner and outer one as well. That's so you can understand how he used to do it. I don't know. And so I ended up playing, and then obviously he released me, Paul Cook, and we kind of shook hands actually because at the end of the day he didn't have to play me anyway, and he did, and so I played a few games there, and then I said to Shez, I didn't have a club. Do you know what I mean? I got released there, and I was like, fucking, I need to get something here.
Bring shares back.
Because you played a lot of games for him as well, and then they still release you.
Well, Paul Cook, I played a lot of games under Shez, and then Paul Cook was the manager for when I was injured for 2 months, and then he ended up going office for a couple of years. But for the last from January to the end of the season, I played every game under Paul Cook as well.
And he still release you?
Yeah, but I would have released me, I think, to be honest.
Oh, really?
Yeah, because of what he wanted. And I'm not kind of thinking, I should have for that, because I probably shouldn't. He had Liam Cooper coming through, and he had, I think it was Ian Evatt.
Right, okay.
Ian Evatt coming through, whether he was better than me or not, we probably could have done the same thing, and he could have got somebody in experience, someone who was more experienced. So it made sense, if I'm being honest. And it wasn't no hard feelings there, so I kind of got that. And then pre-season came, and I didn't have a club. I ended up going to Dundee on trial, and But do you know who was playing there? They were bringing through Andy Robertson.
Oh, was it there?
Yeah, he was there. They were really on him. Like you could tell that they saw something in him.
Right.
And there's a guy I can't remember who was. He ended up going to Sporting Lisbon, one of the young players as well, and I think Suter as well. I think he plays for Rangers. Yeah, so he was there. But Robertson, they were proper focusing on him. Didn't get there, and ended up going Partick Thistle. Failed the medical, obviously, and come back.
Did Robertson did he end up going to Hull after that?
Yeah, he went to Hull. Yeah,
Hull,
smashed
and
it there,
then
and obviously look at him now.
Yeah.
And so pre-season's there. All the lads, like you see your mates playing. I'm there with no club, sitting there on my own, and with my missus I'm waiting for something. And I ended up calling Shez. I said, Shez, can you kind of sort me out? And he said, yeah, well, I can't really do anything unless we get injured. Anyone, centre half get injured.
Yeah.
And it might sound bad, but luckily, Paul Watton got injured for a little bit, and I needed to come in, and he signed me for a couple of months, and then I actually moved down with my missus, and ended up playing to the end of the season. Met some good people.
He played 40-odd games that season.
Yeah, it was a good game. He had so he was sitting back with me. Guy Branston.
Gary Branston.
Yeah, he was there a little bit. Then Curtis Nelson. He ended up.
How did you find Guy?
Well, Guy, when I went to move to Oldham the first time, do you know when I was 18?
Yeah.
He was in the first team then, so I knew him already. He's not shy, is he?
I played with him myself.
He's a top guy. I like him.
Yeah.
Really, really
he
like him.
Just head a breeze block if he had to.
Yeah.
Just come and head it.
He's a top guy as well. He's such a nice guy.
Yeah, lovely guy.
And, so I've got a lot of time for Guy.
He's into his psychology and stuff like that, weren't he? Like, I know he's gone into the agency world now, but
he probably was. Yeah, he was a
big into
thinker.
psychology.
Yeah, he was definitely a thinker. And
just you two at back like this.
I was quite chilled. I kept myself to myself. I had 2 people I was kind of close to was Curtis Nelson and John Marvin Morgan, who sadly passed away.
Right.
And him, really. And they were thinkers as well. And he was in a team, Conor Hurahan. He was in a team as well
okay.
at Plymouth. And so I left Plymouth. And Shays and Chess, listen, I can't keep signing you, do you know what I mean?
Especially
no, he didn't say, but he might as well have done.
Broke up with you. Do you know what I mean? We can't keep seeing it.
Do you know what I mean? My knees were literally in bits. And he said, listen, your knees are like a shot to bits. And I know. Do you know what I mean? And he just said, listen, I'm going to go, I can't sign you. Which is like, oh, okay, I probably wouldn't sign me either. And ended up going.
Did you think you'd get another club after that? Was it kind of like, I just want to get one more season until
I can't.
Yeah, until you can't. Yeah.
And I ended up. It was Marcus Stewart.
Right. Okay.
He was the assistant at Bristol Rovers, and I remember playing against Bristol Rovers and I was at Plymouth, and I did all right. I even scored as well, even though I was centre half. Who cares if you score? And ended up going there to Bristol Rovers, where Darryl Clark was the manager.
Right.
And
it's that kind of area anyway, isn't it? It's not too far from where you were.
And my missus, she's from down there as well. So
right. Okay.
I ended up going there for a little bit, and it was good. Ended up going with Bristol Rovers, playing a few games there. Got injured, obviously.
Obviously.
I think every club I've been at, I think I've had an operation. And it was. I'll be honest with you, Plymouth and probably Bristol Rovers, even though I did all the others, it's probably one of the best times of my career.
Was it most enjoyable? I suppose they're the seasons where you played the most amount of games as well.
Yeah.
Apart from Bristol, obviously.
But that was good because I was injured. I didn't remember having a bad game. And not in a bad way, but I didn't care. It just went like, obviously I wanted to play well, but it wouldn't affect me.
Right.
Do you know what I mean? I was like, that's what kind of, why isn't it affecting me the way it is? But just in the perspective, there was a bit of a shift in terms of how I would like my approach to it, and just obviously believing in myself. And obviously if it came about, it came about. And as long as I was a good lad in and around the guys, they could see value in me as well. And I also could see value in myself. But I think I was only 27 then. And come the end of the season, in fact, no, I had an operation in January, because I'll be honest with you, I know I needed an operation, even though I was training. And I was like, do you know what?
Must be a horrible feeling that we just know
it's
like,
I've got to go through that.
I know I've got to go. Yeah.
But I was used to it. Do you know what I mean? I was kind of.
Well, you've had flipping 12 by then.
Exactly. So, don't you look forward to going under? That's what I was at that point.
I was addicted to morphine.
Nurses calling him Trot.
Right, Trot's back again.
Good to see you again.
Yeah.
And so I was thinking I'd probably need to pull out now to have an operation if I want to play again next season. And anyway, ended up having an operation. It was Cheltenham, it's around March, isn't it? Ended up having the first one then. I had my second one in. My second one. I think I had my second one in April because
So you had the first one in Jan, and then
the first one beginning of March.
Right.
Bristol, and then I had my second. Because I was thinking I need to be at a club to have an operation.
Right, okay.
And then I had a third one. I had a second one in end of April. It was my missus. I was lying in bed with her. She needed me after an operation, and completely ballooned. So I needed another one. So I had to tell my physio that I was at the gym and something fell on me. I had to blag it, because otherwise, imagine saying that. And
Missus need me.
Yeah. And also,
do you fancy second fem with it? Your missus has just done it.
Do you fancy a bit? Get off me.
So I'm not getting fit, and I thought, okay, I need to this is pre-season, by the way. I got released by this time. I got released at Bristol Rovers. So then I ended up going back home. And obviously, need a pre-season fit.
I do admire his thinking towards the end. You can tell you got more experience because you're like, whilst I've got free medical aid, I need to make sure I get my ops in.
Exactly. So that's what I wanted to do. So to give myself the best opportunity, because I was looking at going Altrincham actually. Trying to be at home, and I was thinking I was probably going to retire. Anyway, I got fit-ish, and I thought, okay, I'm going to do this, Total Warrior, like a Tough Mudder thing, just get super fit. Ended up doing that, and
got injured.
I got stuck in the mud. It's ridiculous. I got stuck in the mud, and my knee had gone again, and so I needed another operation. I know, it was a complete nightmare. And
Tough Mudder's done him as well.
I mean,
Tough Mudder.
Tough Mudder.
You couldn't rise after all the others injuries.
Why'd you retire? Because my missus and a Tough Mudder had me over.
Yeah, and so I did that, and then I went to the surgeon and the specialist, and he said, "Listen, no, you can't do it anymore." I just shook his hand. I was like, "Thanks for that." And because it put me out of literally 10 years just having pure operation, having to graft and grind and everything, having to kind of be released, having to get myself back up again, trying to get myself in a team, and I just couldn't be asked with it anymore, to be honest.
And you're all especially for your last 8-9 years, you've just gone on year contracts.
Exactly.
Because nobody wants to commit.
Which I get, but at the same time, it's not nice at the same time. Do you know what I mean? And
but it's like you always get to the summer, you're always panicking about new club, new season, and it's hard.
Honestly, it's the worst when you get released and you've got no club and you're having to scramble and you're having to rely on your agent. And ultimately, listen, you've got an agent. If they've got Prem players, they're always going to be a priority, aren't they? And you just kind of think, I'm going to get seen now in probably a couple of weeks where he's going to put me at the top of the list then.
They're all dicks.
Do you know what I mean? No? So they're going to look after themselves and the top players. I'm not going to say that. But I was always going to be like low on the list anyway. So I had to kind of do it myself. And then at retirement, honestly.
Well, you had Shez's number anyway, so nobody else.
Exactly, yeah. He's the go-to guy, wasn't he?
Ring him.
And
booty call, Shez.
Yeah, no, exactly.
Neil, we can't do this any longer. The wife's asking questions.
Yeah, it's not healthy. And I ended up retiring, and then from there, that's when I had another couple more operations, to get me actually. I got it realigned, so I got a metal plate in my knee, and from there I was like, okay, what am I going to do? So I was literally just at home. This was up until I retired in the July, and I was up until November thinking, what am I going to do? Then it all passed, and then I remember in the January, I did the agency for a year then, actually, and it was all right because I had Curtis Nelson. He was like the one. He did all right for me, and a couple of others, and I was like, this isn't for me. It just isn't.
Just didn't feel that passion for me.
Yeah, because I know what it's like to do something I actually want to do. This wasn't really something, and I actually just I sat down with my missus. So listen, I'm just not sure. And she said, "Why are you going to this?" Not realising, because she always used to come up, like her friends as well, my mates used to come up to like, "What do you think I should do with this?" Like, advice.
Yeah.
Like give it, not realising it, and so
you've always had them skills in the background.
Yeah, and but if you knew me, like at 19, you wouldn't have thought that.
No,
I was just kind of just I don't know. I just wasn't what you'd think I would be now, which is good actually. I'm really glad, and ended up getting into psychology. It's a thing called transactional analysis, which is a type of psychotherapy approach. And I basically did it to work on myself as well, more than anything. Just to kind of tie up any loose ends, really, from football. And ended up absolutely loving it. And the more I did it, the more I kind of wanted to do it as well.
Yeah, it's brilliant how you come full circle, and then obviously now
no
you're
one's
helping.
had any like more ups and downs than you in that career that you had.
But even though I was going through more ups and downs, I felt I was all right.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? I felt I was okay, because ultimately it is going to be okay. Just usually it's temporary. You just have to try and get through that.
Yeah.
If you can get through that kind of moment, because it's
Well,
like...
it's setting yourself them little targets, isn't it? Like,
exactly, and also the fact that I had a setback early, and even had a setback in a few years later, I was like, well, the best predictor is past behaviour, isn't it? And like, my past behaviour shows that I'll get through it. So I was quietly confident that I'd get through it anyway. So that's why I was kind of like, I was all right. That's why, like, usually football, it's always like so you have to grind out for 6 months, it's always going to work out.
Yeah.
If you just stick to it, and your life will open up. If you try other things as well, your life will definitely open up. And I stood by that. It's not easy.
Yeah. You've got to be mentally strong, and you to process
and if you've got
it.
support, someone to like talk to, and if you've got that, you will get through it, no matter what age you are. If you can just spend 6 months of having to think to myself, yeah, this is going to be tough now, but I know after the 6 months it's going to be all right. You have to put the effort in, put the work in, and you'll be all right.
Very good.
I think
Before we finish, who is the best player you come up against?
Pogba. Yeah, Paul Pogba. The way he plays now is where he played back then. When I think we had a testimonial at Burnley, and was it Burnley? I can't remember it was, but I ended up playing. I played against him a couple of times, and he was just the way he flicks it over everyone.
Yeah,
that's what he was doing.
Paul Pogba,
so long as well.
Yeah, Gerard Piqué as well. Piqué, he was like when he was like the youth team in United.
Yeah.
Or like the first year, he was the way he played at Barca is the way he was playing. Then he'd get off the keeper, dribble line. You'd the edge of our right in your box. Like, just dribbling for everyone.
You're not supposed to be here.
Yeah, do you know what I mean? Yeah. Then Fraser Campbell was good back then, youth time. Who else was good? The City players as well. Sturridge.
Yeah.
In the youth team.
Somebody else talked about that before. Said I think that City team, they had an unbelievable.
Ridiculous.
It was always good.
Class, wasn't it?
Did they not train at your school back then? Did they not train where you went to school? Sure, it was called Fletcher Moss.
They probably did actually. I don't know. No, Fletcher Moss was the Sunday League team, wasn't it? No, do you mean Platt Lane?
Yeah, it might have been.
Platt Lane. Yeah, Platt Lane.
Come on,
it was.
Jordan.
It's not far, to be fair. Platt Lane and
No, it was at a school when I played against them.
was it?
Yeah.
Yeah, but you were 5.
That was class.
That was the
class
old
at 5.
training ground, wasn't it? Platt Lane.
Platt Lane was all
Yeah, and that's where they went. And it was all good. Well, it was good football, but like it's it's like that side of me, like my 20s. I'm like now it's just kind of looking forward to the new phase because last thing I don't want to be peak. I don't want to peak when I was playing football.
Yeah.
Each year I kind of want to be at my best. If you know what I mean. You just got to strive towards that.
It's great what you're doing now. It's been real interesting, hasn't it?
I think there'll be loads of people listening that are like, fucking hell, yeah.
Yeah, hopefully. Like, I would encourage anybody to reach out to you.
NealTrotman.com.
NealTrotman.com. No,
I feel like I've had
definitely.
a therapy session. Oh, I'm going to be class tomorrow. Watch this.
You're on the
guys.
bench.
Oh, shit. Yeah.
Don't worry though, focus when you come on.
Yeah.
When you
That's
come on
it.
last 5 minutes.
6 months.
6 months, you can be a better. I said that to you when you sent me that picture yesterday.
Yeah, man.
I said, well, I give you 6 weeks.
Nah,
didn't I?
that was a piss take picture. Like, I was blowing out a bit there.
You was blowing your belly out. Sent me a picture of him sat in his undies. I was like, 6 weeks, I'll get you in shape.
You one who was on social media killing people and you're the only ones in the undies is what we
Yeah.
were talking about before.
Yeah.
Oh, I got some bad ones.
Oh, mate, it's been an absolute pleasure.
Oh, thanks,
Thank you.
Appreciate it.
Neal
Thank you very
Trotman,
much,
everyone.
sir.
Cheers, mate. Nice one.